Welcome to the National Women's Fitness Academy podcast. We're here to talk about women's health, female hormones, body image, and all things health and fitness.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Women's Fitness Academy podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ellen, a binge and body image expert and coach, and as well as a, obviously, podcast host for Women's Fitness Academy and an educator on the online platform and in Bali. So if you guys are coming to Bali in July, I will definitely be there. Today, I'm interviewing a really amazing woman that I followed for a long time, and she started following me back the other day, and I was like, oh my God, this is a sign. I need to ask her to get on the podcast. Her name is Liv. She lives on the Gold Coast, and she's a fitness trainer. So welcome, Liv, to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. I'm super excited to chat to you. So for the listeners who don't know who you are or anything about your background, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, of course. So basically when I was basically a child, I was always into sport growing up, did national cross country, loved sport. My whole life has basically been health and fitness. And then obviously as I transitioned out of school, I wanted to just keep my passion for health and fitness going. So of course I went and did my Cert 3 and 4. And yeah, now I'm a fitness trainer on the Gold Coast. I have a beautiful little family, my husband Bear and my daughter Halo, and yeah, we're just living the lifestyle kind of Gold Coast life. We love it. Yeah,
it looks like you're living the dream. When every time I go to your profile, I'm like, oh, she's always up to so many fun things, and it just looks beautiful up there as well, and warm, especially down in Sydney at the moment. I've been here for 2 weeks and it's been raining and 11 degrees, and oh, it's awful.
Yeah, I'm actually originally from Sydney, so we moved up when I was in my teens, and I definitely I need the warmth.
yeah, it just changes something in your mood, I think. It's just people who are just so much happier when they're living in warm countries.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially coming from Sweden. In Sweden in winter, we are everyone, not everyone, but so many people get depressed in winter. And they even tell us to supplement vitamin D, even go in the sunbeds, the solariums and stuff, just because you're not getting that sunlight. So the sun really has a huge effect on us. It's crazy.
Yeah, the weather changes my mood, that's for sure.
So tell us, how did you get into fitness? You said you were really active as a child, growing up, playing sports and stuff like that. But now you're obviously there's a lot of people who do that, who don't go into fitness as a professional. What was your journey kind of with that?
Yeah, so as a child, my parents obviously put me in a million different sports. I would be at, say, touch football training, then I'd be at swimming, surf life saving, surfing, doing all that. And I literally did not have an afternoon off. So I guess that's where my love for fitness started, and I don't know any different. So with that, I basically just had this love for pushing my body, and I really, really found the mental state of working out helped me so much. So I'm more trained for, I guess, my mental health rather than what I look like. So yeah, it just really helps my anxiety. So I suffer a little bit with anxiety, and I'm also very hyperactive. So I need to get my energy out. Otherwise I'm up all night thinking. And I just grew this love for fitness in that way, more for my mind rather than anything else. So that's how it kind of started. I competed through surf life saving my whole life. That's the sport I chose. So I was loving the longer distance racing in that. So the Coolangatta Gold. So that's roughly a 35-kilometer race. Things that kind of, so we did paddling, swimming, board paddling, and running. And, through cross country, I competed at national level for cross country through high school. So all my love for that just kind of transitioned into me after school. I think there's a plane for me. Sorry. You'll be able to hear it.
I can't hear anything. No,
you're fine.
Yeah.
So cut along, no, you're fine. So cut a long story short, When I left school, I jumped straight into lifeguarding because it's like a natural transition from surf lifesaving. So I went and worked for the Gold Coast City Council for probably around 8 to 10 years. And I loved my job. I loved it, but I didn't like doing the times that other people would give me. So I love the freedom of working for yourself and being your own boss. And that's where I knew I needed to be, especially if I wanted to start a family. Like, I wanted that freedom to be able to hang out with my child whenever I wanted. And I know that that is a luxury. So I had to work my butt off to get to that point. So yeah, basically cut a long story short, went through whole of high school, competed through surf lifesaving through like my teens, early 20s. And I did stop that because my dad coached. And then, he unfortunately stopped coaching. So then my love kind of fell out of that sport. But then I found a way to challenge myself. So obviously I was very knowledgeable in cardio type exercise, I would say, and I needed to start challenging myself with weights. So I started doing the WBFF training, the bodybuilding for bikini, and I learned so much through that process through one of my coaches, and I just wanted to work on my weaknesses to be able to be like the best possible coach I could be. And I had some awful experiences working for other people in the fitness industry, and I had enough. I was like, I'm not working for another person. I'm going to work for myself. And I did I tried working at those chain gyms. And to be honest, there's just so many egos and I couldn't deal. So yeah, definitely I started my own brand, and I found that I really loved helping women find their confidence. And so that's when I actually studied at the Women's Fitness Academy. I already had my Cert 3 and 4 in fitness, and I had a few other things as well, but I really wanted to zone in on being a women's specific coach.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I did.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that?
I studied with the Women's Fitness Academy about 2 years ago. So just while I was falling pregnant, I decided, yep, this is exactly what I want to do. And I've loved helping women find their confidence in training, especially when they're pregnant. I find that there's a lot of stigma around training when you are pregnant. Yeah. And I really wanted to try and help break that over social media as well.
Yeah, I love that. And I definitely think that there's not enough information out there about training when you are pregnant. Like, I see one of my good friends in Bali is pregnant at the moment, and she's doing CrossFit, she's doing clean, running and burpees, all this amazing stuff. And
it's amazing.
I'm obviously not pregnant. So I was like, how, that's so cool. I love that she's still doing all this kind of training. Yeah. I think a lot of people are they get pregnant and then they're like, okay, well, that's just my cue. I'm not going to train now for 9 months.
No, and I for me, I need fitness for my mental health. So for me, it was really important to train and train hard throughout my pregnancy. I love training hard. I need that mental stimulation, that push. So making sure that, I was posting workouts while I was pregnant, and, showing people that follow me. I mean, I don't have the biggest following, but I feel like, I've got enough to influence at least someone else out there. Yeah. I definitely loved it. It's not recommended, but I did run up until I think 33 weeks. I was running up to 7 kilometers. And then it got to a point where I was like, oh, yep, no, that's not my time to stop running, because I could feel the baby's head literally between my legs. I was like, yeah, no. I'm starting to wee at probably every street that I could find. I was like, okay, that's my cue to stop. But because I'm a runner and I have been my whole life, it just felt supernatural to me and not foreign. So I just kept doing what I was meant to do, and that was it.
Yeah. It just makes me think of Sex and the City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when Charlotte finally gets pregnant, then she stops all exercise, and then they're like, why are you not training? Said it was fine because you've always been a runner. That's who you are. And then she starts running again, and she's so happy, even though she's fully pregnant.
And I totally understand why women get so scared. So obviously there's different ways of falling pregnant with IVF and all of that. And I know that women have a really, really hard time. And doctors do recommend that in certain situations, obviously don't do anything to kind of, upset anything. But if you've got a healthy pregnancy and you're in the clear, there is no reason why you can't get out and get active.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And like obviously, like you said, everyone's so different, and it's going to depend on like your body. And if you've never tried before, then maybe pregnancy is probably not the best time to start.
Yes, but you can start. Start.
So with your business then, so you do only like online, one-on-one, like let me start again.
In person.
With your business, you do more in-person training, right?
Yes, in person and online as well. Yeah.
Oh, you do online as well?
Just on the side. just casually on the side.
Yeah, but mainly it's like in-person training.
Yeah, mainly in-person training. I get a kick out of it. I love seeing results, and I love like pushing someone right there.
yeah, totally. And I think that's something that like I'm only online, and something I really, really miss is like having that human interaction, like being able to like actually sit down after a class, like having a coffee with someone and just seeing someone face to face. Like you can do as much Zoom as you want, but it's never going to be the same.
Well, this is the thing, and I found with online coaching is great if you have clients that want to do it. So I think a lot of people will sign up to a program or an online training program, and they'll be like, you know what, I didn't realize I had to work for this. If you get a client like that, it's almost it's really sad, because you put a lot of time and effort into your programming, and you really want them to do well. But I guess if they're not stepping up to the plate, again, you're not going to get anywhere. And I think like what people don't realize is you need to go and do the work yourself. Like I can only do so much with online. And I think that's why I like in person a lot more, because you can literally yell at them right there, be like, come on, girl, you got this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, with online, I do online check-ins like every Monday, and I try and make sure that they're, on their game. And yeah, you just want to make sure you've got that balance, I guess, with online. It can be really, really hard.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of people sign up to online coaching and they kind of expect to be like spoon-fed almost, like expecting the coach to check up on them every single day, and the coach to be like and telling every single thing that they need to do in the day, and that they're just going to get results like that.
Yeah.
But in person, it's a lot easier to have that like actual conversation about everything and understanding like where this person is coming from, like why they have these goals. And I feel like it's easier to motivate people like in person. It's like going to like a guest lecture.
Yeah, 100%. Sorry, the plane.
No. So Liv told me before we started, it's like I live close to an airport, and it's plane going over, but I actually can't hear anything. So
okay, good. So
yeah.
Okay, cool. I was like, I'm so sorry if it starts to get all fuzzy. So yeah, I really, really love it. And the thing is, when I was, just coming out of school, getting my confidence with weights, I would go to these gyms and I would feel quite judged. And a lot of the trainers, they didn't really pick up on my technique or anything like that. And it frustrated me. And I also felt like there was cliques in these gyms, and I never really fit into a box. And I think that's why I wanted to create like an only girls group. And I tell them as soon as they rock up, hey, there are no cliques here and there's no bad vibes, and we all get along. There is no bitchiness. I do not stand for it, because I feel like it's hard enough. You just want to go to the gym, work out. You don't need to be feeling all these extra feelings. So that's one thing that I love about our group, is that it's only females. It's definitely just got that fun vibe, and that's what I love about in person. And we actually do these challenges. I do a challenge, an 8-week block challenge, twice a year in person, and at the end we make sure we do some sort of fun goal together and really bond. So we do like we did the raw challenge last year. Tonight we've got the end of our 8-week challenge, and we're doing heels by, is it Misha or Misha? I'm not too sure. Please don't quote me on that. But we're doing a sexy dance class. It's like that empowerment, like, you know,
Oh,
whip
no
your hair.
way. Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So we're doing all that. Like I try and make it super fun and not your typical gym.
Yeah.
So yeah, in person's great for just like making friends, because to be honest, I only have like 3 to 4 friends that I can count, you know, on my hand. And it's really good for me to get that social interaction.
Yeah, totally. And like I love being a part of a group. So I do a group coaching program as well. And I love how, because women who come to you for coaching, they usually tend to feel quite lost and like lonely, and like, oh, I'm the only one who struggles with body image, I'm the only one who can't lose weight, or whatever the problem is. And then you put them in a group where everyone has the same problem, and it's just so amazing to see like they can open up and be vulnerable, and they never feel like they're judged, and they can talk about all these things that they can't necessarily talk about to their partner or their friends back home.
100%. A lot of my girls that come to me do have body image issues. And I think since becoming like just a specific females coach, I have realized how many women suffer from body image. And it's very, very sad. Like it's definitely a problem, and I don't think social media helps with all the editing apps and everything like that. So I've definitely tried to, like, you know, not put as many filters on, or like, you know, make a positive change in somewhat way like that, because it can be scary how much it affects women. It's really sad.
Oh God, absolutely. Like I've stopped using filters completely, because I just want to show up as real as I possibly can be.
100%.
I mean, we're all guilty of taking like the photos in the best
photo.
Yeah, like, you know, wearing our nicest outfit and like wearing a nice gym fit and stuff like that. Like, but that's just human though. Like we all want to feel and like our best, like our best self. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But
I think it's a good thing. Yeah,
it like makes you feel empowered. It's like, no, that this is my body, I'm gonna show it off the way I want to show it off. I think that's great. Like you go, girl. Like you wear whatever the fuck you want.
yeah. I literally rock up to training in a bikini top and shorts and sneakers. I'm like, let's go, girls, come on.
Yeah,
and the girls like trying to
that.
do the same thing. It's amazing. Like, but yeah, it definitely does affect a lot of women, and it's very, very sad. And I think that's something that, you know, as a personal trainer, you really want to try and help and build, you know, women's confidence. It's you know, you don't want a client coming to you. It's already hard enough for them to come to you, and then, you know, if you're not saying the right things, or, you know, it can be really damaging. So, you know, you want to make sure that you've got a really good support system.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Like I had a client come the other day, and she said that her personal trainer was like guilting her for eating on the weekend, and saying that she gained all this weight and it was her fault, and like accusing her of doing stuff that wasn't in her program. And like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it's just like, what? Like, who does this? Like, you hear these horror stories about people doing it, but then it's like someone that you know that it happens to, and you're like, what? Like, why? Like, why would someone ever do that? Like, the world is already tough enough as it is. Like, if we as women also are gonna be tough against each other and beat each other down, like who is gonna help us lift each other up then?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like on that note, with the challenges that I do, so we do before and after photos, and I realize sometimes that can be damaging. But what I set in place, like especially with our group, is I just always make sure that, hey, this is what we're doing it for our mental health, we're doing it for healthier habits, we're doing it for our insides. We're not necessarily, you know, physical results. Yes, of course, it's human nature, we want to always look better. But it's about, like, you know, your inside health, your mind, the way you come across to people, you know, being confident within yourself. So they're the things that I look for in a coach, like that I would want, and that's what I try and be. And I feel like, you know, if you get coaches that are like shaming you for food and things like that, that is horrible. And it's just people don't need that. You know, if you come to me and say, you know, this is the calories I want to stick to, I want to stick to a certain amount of calories and things like that, then yeah, of course I can push you to a certain extent. But then if you don't want to do it, you can't force someone or make someone feel bad at the end of the day, you know. It can be really damaging.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of fitness professionals that are operating outside of their scope. So it's really important as a client to really know, like, is this person actually, like, can they actually help me with my nutrition? Can they actually help me with my mental health issues or whatever it is that they're going through? Because most people are like, we're all in this business because we want to help people. So hopefully, like, we all have like the best intentions at heart, I hear.
Yeah, you'd hope so, yeah.
But sometimes the advice might not come out that great, and it can actually be quite damaging if you don't know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, 100% for sure.
So with having like a women's studio like you do, like just doing like women's fitness training, like in person, like there's so many trainers out there. Like why do people come to you? Like, how did that all start?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so sorry, they're my dogs in the background just going off. So how I started, obviously, you know, like just with my background, lifeguarding, how I built my business, I would say I really worked my butt off. So I think a lot of people see on social media like this lifestyle and like, oh yeah, it's very airy-fairy, it's fun. But what they don't see is the hard work that goes behind something. Like, for an example, even say, you know, I'm doing a story, like a paid story, that 15 seconds that you're seeing, that's going to take me 2 hours to film. No, it's not fake, but you've got to get all the right things in the one sentence, and you've got to make sure that you're getting these certain words in. And it can be very, very hard to do. So kind of going back to, I guess, what I'm trying to say is I don't think people would see, like, you know, the 8-hour lifeguarding shifts and then me waking up at 4:30 in the morning to then PT before my 8-hour shift and then PTing after my 8-hour shift. They don't see those long days. They probably think that clients just come to me from social media, and it doesn't work like that. It can be hard to get clients, even if you do have a following. You've got to be good at what you do, and you've got to have some sort of difference about you, I feel. So I think that's where it comes in. So when I first started lifeguarding and kind of juggling the two jobs, obviously word of mouth kind of got around, but you have to be on. Like, those jobs are draining. So sitting in the sun for 8 hours, making sure no one drowns, rescuing people, draining, and then going and carrying weights down to the park, packing my car, like, with the weights, you know, getting down there, packing it back up. You know, by the time you get home, it's like 8 o'clock at night. So I think just grinding it out at the start and coming up with like your own thing. So for me, I would always have really good music playing. I'd be very high energy and just more like you're coming to work out with a girlfriend. And I think that's all people want, is like, especially clients that aren't, I guess, serious about, say, like, you know, bodybuilding or things like that. Of course, I can take on clients like that, but majority of my clients are just your average people that just want to work out for their health. So I think when you make it like you're their girlfriend and you're like, you know, working out with them, or, you know, you're pushing them and you're having some banter back and forth. I'm not the serious personal trainer like that you would usually kind of get. Yes, I push you very hard, and I'll get out my wit when I need to. But I think it comes down to just having a good time. And I genuinely have a good time with my clients. So kind of fast forwarding to where I guess I am at now, I would have classes running and only 2 people would rock up at the start. And people probably didn't see that on social media. They probably thought I'd just get to where I am right now. Oh, yeah, she's got followers. Like, they'll just come.
Yeah.
It's like, no, some sessions I'd rock up and there'd be only 2 girls and I'd feel like such a loser. You know, so there was definitely humbling moments in there. And, you know, I'm still not where I want to be. I want to own my own gym. I mean, my studio, I work from home and I work down at my local park, but I still want to have a huge gym, like an all women's gym. Like, I'm still not satisfied. So you know, just kind of getting out there and just doing it, even when I only had 2 clients rock up to a group class, and now I've got 16 girls and maxing out classes. So you kind of just got to stick with it, I think.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, that's so true. I speak a lot about this in the podcast as well, that it's so like once you get your cert, it's like, oh yeah, now all the clients will come to me, and now everything will be fine, and I will have money, and like it's fine. But it's so much harder running your own business than what everyone thinks.
Yeah, and if you're starting out and you only have 1 to 2 girls rock up to a group class, please do not worry. I have been there.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%.
You've got to start somewhere, and you've got to have those humbling moments.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's so good. Yeah, like even now I feel like I've been coaching for what, like 4 or 5 years or something, and sometimes I launch stuff and only like 1 or 2 people rock up to it, and that's fine. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that what you're doing isn't working, and that you should give up and go back to your normal job, a corporate job or whatever you were doing before.
No,
if you have a dream, you should go for it. Like if it's in your heart, then it's 100% going to happen. You just have to work for it.
Yeah, so like I'll definitely share one of these stories. It's quite funny. It's funny now. It wasn't funny at the time.
Yeah, no, it's never funny at the time, but after you can look back at it.
If you're starting out as a coach and you are like in the same position I was like 5 years ago, please do not worry. If it's what you're meant to do, it's what you're meant to do at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you just got to have something different about you, and I think you've just got to believe it. So. Oh, this is so not funny, but it is funny to me now.
Oh God, I'm excited now.
Okay. So I'm not going to name the gyms, but I would apply for these gyms and I get the job straight away. And I don't know what it was, but I would just get the job. And I don't know if it's because of social media. I don't know if it's because I looked the part. I don't really know. So I would get these jobs, but then as soon as I would start, they would treat me like absolute shit. So with how am I allowed to swear? Oh my goodness.
Yep. Swear away, please.
Yeah, okay. So they would cleaning the bathrooms would be a part of your job, but obviously as a personal trainer, you get hired in these gyms to correct people's form, to instruct, to do all the things, of course comes in the role, you do a little bit of cleaning, bit of maintenance, of course. Like I'm not a brat. I'm down for cleaning. I love cleaning. Do not get me wrong.
Yeah.
But there was a time where one of my manager or the boss or whatever, he was like, look, I'll just clean the men's bathroom, you clean the women's bathroom, bang, we're out of here. And I said, okay, that sounds great, whatever. The main guy comes in and goes, hey, there's a skitty on the men's toilet you didn't clean. Yeah. And I was like, oh, sorry, I'll go clean that now. I'm like, I must have missed it. And he goes, well, that's just not good enough. And there's pubes on the men's toilet that you've got to go clean. Yeah. So things like this did happen to me, and I was mortified, and I was like, is this normal? Like, is this normal behavior? Clearly it's not. Like, the chain of this gym, should employ cleaners to do that.
Or just have males cleaning there. Like, I wouldn't want a male coming into the women's bathroom cleaning when I was having a shower.
Yeah, like it was just awkward, and just, he'd be very, I would say, passive aggressive in the way he came across, and it would make me super nervous. And I felt like such a failure as a personal trainer. I was like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm cleaning skitties off the men's bathroom. Like, what am I doing? And he'd be like, oh, did you put out the cones for the car? Like, did you do that? And I go, yeah, I did it at 4:30 this morning before anyone was here. Like, don't talk to me like I'm an idiot. I might look like I'm an idiot, but I'm actually very smart. So please do not talk to me like that. Anyway, I left crying for the whole week. Every single day there was like something that was kind of, I would say, passive aggressive and disgusting, and just really wanted to put me in my place and put me down. They'd also film me turning the music down as I don't know, you move on. When you tell someone to move on, you got to turn the music down. They'd film me like turning the music down, making out I wasn't doing my job. And so he came in and he goes, oh, I got footage of you just standing by the speaker. And I go, well, I've done 10,000 steps this morning. How much has he done over there? And he goes, no, well, that can't be right. I'm like, well, is my Apple Watch lying? Like, I can't do this anymore. Like, you're literally making it impossible. So I felt somewhat bullied in this male environment. And the same goes, like, even with women, like, I applied for this other gym for this role, and I know she followed my brother, my sister, my mom, my husband, and didn't follow me. And I went for this job. I went through the process, and I was like, thank you. I didn't get the job. She told me I didn't get the job, and she's like, look, you didn't get the job. I did hours for free, like, just basically trialing. And basically she goes, look, you didn't get the job. And I go, you know what? That's totally fine. Thank you for your time. She's like, the other guy got it. And I was like, okay, cool. She's like, it was out of you too. And I was like, thank you so much for your time. I was a bit disappointed, but I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Anyway, moving on. I went back lifeguarding. Cut a long story short, the main guy calls me and goes, hey, Liv, how are you going in your interview process? I really liked your work. Are you going to be starting work? And I was like, I don't know if you know, but she told me I didn't get the job. Anyway, I was like, that's super weird that this girl told me I didn't get the job, but the main guy wanted me on. So there was all this miscommunication everywhere. And she started liking my husband's photos on Instagram, started messaging my brother that was only 14 at the time for a body scan, and my younger sister that was 12 for a body scan, offering them to come into the gym to start. And I was like, what are you playing at? For one, both my brother and sister are underage. This is so inappropriate. They're already dealing with body image issues. They don't need any more bullshit on them. I didn't get the job. I'm posted all over my husband's social media. What are you doing? So I had all of these bad experiences, which I guess motivated me to then just go, you know what? Fuck it. I'm doing my own training sessions on my own business without all the bullshit.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that's great. I think a lot of people are going to have opinions. A lot of people are going to like try and meddle into what you're doing. And, some people are going to be jealous of you and trying to hold you down and trying, obviously that you triggered something in them that they didn't like. And that's why they acted like this towards you.
Yeah. And it's fine. Like if you don't, if I'm too, like, I don't know.
If there's something professionally that you're doing wrong, then yeah, for sure. But it sounds
please let me know. I
can
take
of course
feedback, but the games, the egos, people that are sometimes in that gym industry, I couldn't handle it. I was like, I've got to get my own good vibes happening. Let's make our own business, hey?
Yeah, but I mean, it inspired you to go to where you are now. And I look at you now. Now you have plans of, opening your own gym in the future, and like you're obviously a successful businesswoman having your own freaking business instead of working for all these other gyms. So,
well, it's so funny. I'm actually working, I'd say probably 12 hours a week. I'm making more than I was at these gyms, like a lot more. So it just goes to show you, if you're like feeling like a shit kicker, which I definitely was, you're not alone, and it does get better if you really want it. And I did really want it because I wanted those hours to spend with my baby. I knew I wanted a child, and I knew I wanted to have my own hours to be able to, drop them to school or do things like that. So
yeah. Which takes us into being a mum.
Yeah.
So how has that transition kind of been? Like obviously going through pregnancy and then having a baby, like how are you juggling mum and business life?
Honestly, it can be really, really hard. But it's definitely something I really, really wanted. And I couldn't imagine my life without her. She's like the best.
Of course. It's so
yeah. And I loved it. I loved being pregnant. I had a really positive experience. My birth was 2 days long.
Oh my God.
I pushed for 4 hours. I needed forceps at the end and an episiotomy, but my pelvic floor kept sucking her back up. Like,
oh my God, I didn't even know that could happen.
Yeah.
Human body is so weird.
Killed on the squats,
Wow.
But yeah, so I mean, my birth wasn't, it was still a positive experience. Like my doctor knew exactly what I wanted. I wanted a more natural type delivery. And I ended up getting a epidural because, but when I was going for, you know, it was the second day in, and I was like, my body was shutting down. It was quite, yeah, it was hard. And I wasn't opposed to getting an epidural. I'm not like, oh, I need to do this on my own. So I got the epidural. I think that saved me from going in for a C-section, because my body then really relaxed. And yeah, I ended up, so he got her head and shoulders out, my obstetrician, and I ended up getting her from like the ribs underneath the arms and pulling her up myself, like a bit of a Kourtney Kardashian moment.
Wow.
Yeah, so I still got that like natural experience that I kind of wanted. But yeah, there's nothing I would change there. And I had an amazing pregnancy, bit of a hard birth. My mum said it was traumatic, but I loved it.
It's always worth watching, I think.
Yeah. My mum passed out twice because she thought I was going to die, but
shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, but my husband's pretty good. He's a fiery, so he's really good with situations, and he was also a lifeguard. I met him lifeguarding. So we both work really well with like team kind of. We got that team, I guess, dynamic. So he's really good with situations, and so am I guess. And yeah, just transitioning into motherhood. I took 3 months off, and I'm so lucky my clients came back to me. I'm very blessed. I think if I was to have another baby, I wouldn't take that much time off because I've got more clients now, and I feel more of a responsibility. And I've got my mum to really help me look after Halo, and my husband's we work very well, like as a team. Like, don't get me wrong, we're not perfect. He does my head in from time to time. But we do have that kind of more friend, I would say, before we like, you know, got together. So we've got that foundation, and it's really helped having a baby and transitioning into motherhood. Like, definitely got a support system there. So that definitely helps.
So talking to you, you seem like such a positive person. Like, you're literally like a bundle of energy.
Oh,
do you ever have moments where you're struggling, or like you can't get out of bed, or is there anything in the past that you've struggled with, or have you always just yay, happy, rainbow, sunshine?
No, look, I have my days, but to be honest, I am a very upbeat, positive person. Like, you know, and I think that's come down to my training. Like through my teens and early 20s, I'd have to pack my bag the night before to then go training and get up at 4 a.m. to go swim training. So I feel like all the preparation, and now my life now is a lot easier than what it was when I was an athlete. And I've taken those things that I've learned, like preparation and organization, like, you know, just making sure that everything's in line. I feel like when you're an athlete, you kind of learn to you're programmed like that. So it doesn't matter if you're not an athlete anymore. You take that into your work life. And I feel like I'm lucky. I'm very lucky to be getting up and out of bed every day. I feel blessed that I've got a healthy baby. I feel blessed that I've got a job. You know, and I feel like, of course, there's times where I feel, you know, anxious, tired. I can get a little bit depressed from time to time and not want to really leave my house. I'm not that social as much as I'm out there. I don't really go out. So yeah, of course I have my days, but overall I really do feel blessed. Like a lot of my friends, you know, they're going through some serious situations, and like, you know, I've got one of my friends I met off social media. She was diagnosed with cancer, and our daughters were born on the same day. And I'm like, you know, she's going through hell and back, and she's still positive. So what have I got to complain about? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's one of those things where I'm really grateful to just wake up every day.
Yeah. And it's so, like, you know, anxiety and gratefulness can't exist at the same time. So I think that, like, coming from a background with like loads of sport, and like I myself come from, like, I used to do like competitive horseback riding when I was younger. So I had my
amazing.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people that I talk to who come from like a background of doing some kind of sport, and learning to have that purpose and that discipline, and, you know, the kind of attitude of, you know, I feel like shit now, but I'm going to get out of bed and I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah,
I feel
like
you become a lot more resilient when you have that kind of background.
100%. And I think that's why it's so important, if you've got kids, get them straight into sport, because, you know, you can go party, have your life, do that. Of course, I'm not like, you know, sorry, there's another thing.
No, it's like, honestly, can't hear it. So you just keep talking.
Sorry, but I can't hear. Definitely just go get your kids into sport. Like, of course, they can go party, they can choose what they want to do. But if you as a parent, you know, if you have kids, or if anybody listening, you know, make sure that you make them tired and make sure that, you know, you've got them packing their bags the night before, because trust me, it does transition into adulthood. And I mean, I feel like I am on the extreme side. Like, I feel like I've always got to be working towards a goal, which can be quite tiring and exhausting. Like, you know, I can't just go for a run. I want to go run and do a marathon. Like, why can't I just go for a run and just enjoy the view? Like, it can be tiring in that way, but I don't think it's a negative thing either.
Yeah, I think it's important to find that balance, right? Of having, like, I think a lot of entrepreneurs have that kind of mindset that they're like, oh, I feel like I'm never good enough. I feel like I can never stop working because there's always more you can do, because there's always more you can do in business, right? So same thing with like training. It's like, oh, well, I could always do one more rep. I could always run a little bit further or a little bit faster. So I think it's hard to find that balance of, okay, this was actually enough today. Like, I did, this was nice, and I've done enough work today, and now I can go and relax with my daughter or whatever it is.
See, that's the thing. It's like, I don't say I would have, like, you know, I probably run myself. That's probably a negative side, is I run myself into the ground and I don't ask for help. And then, you know, when I ask for help, it's almost too late, to the point where I'm either really run down sick and I'm like, no one helps me. And it's like, Liv, you look like you've got it all together. Like, you need to ask for help. And that's something that I probably need to work on myself, is asking for help. And identify it a lot earlier. Like, don't wait until you're at that mental breakdown stage, you know?
Yeah, I can relate to that. But I think you're aware of it. Like, that's the first part, you know, becoming aware of what you're doing and how you are reacting in certain situations, and then start breaking that pattern before you get to the point when you literally lay in bed and you're like, I can't do anything, I'm so tired.
Because once you get to that point, it's like, it's too late to, like, just lay in bed.
Then you just day off social media, day off everything, just leave me alone, give me my chocolate.
Literally, like, oh, dairy milk chocolate. I ate like 5 bunnies the other day, and never again. I broke a pimple, made me feel so sick. I'm like, but then I'll probably go and buy another chocolate bunny this afternoon.
I know. I'm going back to Bali in 2 days, and all my friends back in Bali are like, bring back Easter eggs, because they don't have that there. So.
Oh, of course, that's so funny.
I'll have to go raid the Red Woolworths after this. But Liv, it's been such a pleasure talking to you. Before we go, like, do you take on clients? Like, obviously it's a bit hard for people who are online or like on the other side of the country to come to work with you in person, but you taking on online clients?
So like, obviously I take on, I love like in-person clients. I take on, I can take on more with both. So I'm on the Southern Gold Coast, so a lot of the girls think I might be central, so I'm more southern of the Gold Coast. If you're around and you even want to come to a casual class, so say if you're popping up on the Gold Coast, just message me and just come to a one-off class. It'll be super fun. But then online, I have girls over in America. So I definitely take on clients. A lot of New Zealand girls as well. Around the world. I love it. So definitely reach out if you want to be coached by me. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Like, you're making me want to go to a Gold Coast and come to one of your classes.
Come train with me. Let's have a good time.
Yes, next time I'm in Australia, I'll definitely make a quick pit stop onto the Gold Coast.
The Gold Coast, please do.
Oh God. Well, guys, as you know by now, please, if you like this episode, make sure you do take a screenshot of it, that you tell us what you like, that you're showing us where you're listening. Are you listening on your walk? Are you listening in the gym? Are you listening like on the way to work, or wherever you are? Take a screenshot. Tag myself, tag Liv, tag Women's Fitness Academy. We love connecting with you guys and being able to say thank you and have a conversation with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Of course. Liv, enjoy the rest of your day, and everyone else, thanks for listening.